Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So I thought I'd do a quick video about what's going on with Metalcore. So Metalcore, they just released this trailer. So it's a sort of mechanized open world sort of game where you have these big mechs and various other sort of things going on, like combat vehicles and characters as well. And they just did their first mint. So this is their Infantry mint. They have a whole bunch. So they did 10,000 NFTs minted onto Ethereum, even though the game's running on Polygon. So I did this kind of quite nice video. You can see there's 8 classes, and that's all sort of well and good. The thing actually was interesting in the sense that it was a free mint, so you didn't pay, you just paid the gas fees for the Ethereum transaction. So this is actually a few days ago, so actually a week ago it happened. But I thought what was sort of interesting about this is not so much the fact that it's it's a good team building an interesting sort of game, but the stuff it actually is. So this is looking at OpenSea. This is what that's actually sort of been minted, and I think there is this. We have to be sort of careful that these NFTs, these are not sort of PFPs. Clearly, these are sort of game characters. So we shouldn't get too wound up by the actual aesthetic look of them. But I do think it is quite weird that in this sort of setup, we know there's 8 character classes, we've just seen that, but equally there's a whole bunch within those character classes, another whole bunch of sort of characters. So we have, what seems to have happened here is in terms of the combat roles, the cheapest ones now, so this is the cheapest price, 0.06 ETH. These are all, well, not all, but pretty much medics. So these you can see the cheapest ones are various types of medics. This one's not. She's a medic. He's not. A whole bunch of these are sort of medics. So medics are at the moment sort of the cheapest ones. I should say these NFTs do act as sort of early access passes when the first playable comes out, I think in September. But what's more weird, I think, about this is the fact that they just aesthetically, they sort of look, it looks weird as you look down the collection. So these look fine. They all sort of look like roughly the same. Obviously, they're not all facing the same way like a PFP collection would be. These are sort of generic sheets of character, although there are different sort of rarities of these as well. So you get this slightly confusing thing where there are different rarities of these sort of named characters. But you have these a whole bunch of robots going down here. At least the art style's all the same there. Then we have these ones, and it's the art style is sort of, maybe the art style's a little bit different. Obviously, the positioning of the characters different. And then these ones start coming in, which is a sort of like a totally different art style. So you could argue these are sort of realistic sort of look, and then these ones are sort of almost like a cartoon look. And as you start going down, I mean, it's just quite. I'm sure it's not random, but it seems very random that you have these sort of characters and these clearly, I would say, different artists. I don't know that's the case, but it's just a totally different art style. And these ones come, and it just starts to look. I mean, again, this one's really odd. Starts to look a little bit. I think randomness can be an art style, but if I didn't know this was like a proper sort of collection, I would think this is almost like some sort of scam. They've just pulled loads of different random artwork. I'm sure there is some sort of coherent thinking behind what these are, and they have all these sort of weird names, which again are not like, Lazara Laserburn. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seems a very sort of odd way of putting these things out. And this is the I've double checked. This is the proper sort of collection, and you can see, they've done 260 ETH. So they've done about $400,000 worth, probably not quite that, something like that. So they've done a whole bunch of trading volume. You can see people are owning these. Well, actually, quite a lot of, you can see, not many owners, 1,500 owners for 10,000. The other slightly weird thing about this is that there are going to be, this is just the infantry genesis, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other ones as well. So there's going to be infantry, tanks, aircraft, and mechs. There's going to be a whole bunch of these other mints going on as well. It's not very clear why why you would need some rather than others. And again, maybe I should go back and sort of read the white paper, and that will explain it all to me. But I just kind of think with these sort of projects, you need to be a little bit careful about just first impressions. And however first impressions can be, you have to be equally careful not to be totally taken by your first impressions. I think first impressions equally, you do have to, as a developer, as a creator, you do have to be quite careful of these. And this just seems a little bit random. of what's sort of going on. I mean, suddenly got people with swords and stuff. It's kind of thing. Is this some sort of weird fantasy adventure? I'm sure it all will be made clear at some point when this thing starts becoming playable. There's a whole bunch of people sort of supporting them. They've raised sort of money from $50 million from VC companies and stuff. I don't really think the project is not going to be sort of interesting. But I just kind of think it just sort of surprises me, I suppose, that this has sort of come out in the way it has. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on what's going on with Metalcore, yeah, I think it's one of those games that is worth sort of following on Twitter and that sort of stuff. So I encourage people who are interested in those sort of games to do that. But thanks for watching the video. See you again soon.